Welcome to Trenchometry. If you've spent any time in or around the trenches, playing offensive line isn't just blocking, it is chess at light speed. You're controlling angles while a 280-pound defender tries to destroy your running back. Every snap, calculating leverage, mirroring footwork, and anchoring against pure violence. Miss one step and your franchise player gets flattened. We're here to discuss the most undervalued aspect of the game of football, the offensive line. Remember, when you master the trenches, you win the war. And my guest today is Coach CJ Cain from Omaha, Nebraska, which I'm really excited and interested to talk with him because this is going to be something that I don't have a lot of experience with, and I've never really talked with anybody that has a lot of experience with this, but it's indoor football, which is his topic expertise. He's a big dude. He's an offensive lineman. He's done this before. So, Coach, tell me, what is indoor football? Let's start with that for people that may have never seen it, don't know it exists. Break it down for me. How's that work?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a unique blend of what you see outside, and then there's some nuances to it. I mean, it's 8-on-8. Football is played inside on usually like a hockey rink. They put the old school AstroTurf type of material down. They put the walls up. You score. You do everything just like normal football. But what's unique to the game is it's 3 offensive linemen versus 3 defensive linemen, and you'll see guys running towards the line of scrimmage. It kind of mirrors. It's a smaller version, I like to tell people, of the CFL.
Okay.
As far as having guys in motion, doing a lot more creative stuff offensively, because as a defensive guy, you're still in a normal defensive back stance or whatever, and you got someone running at you full speed, and you have no idea where they're going. So yeah, it's what it really is a breeding ground for guys who are trying to elevate, and it's a path for them directly to the CFL. I mean, they come and pluck guys from the indoor game a lot because they play similar rule sets.
With the 3 guys up front, is there a type of style of play that fits into this into this indoor game better than others? If you're a road grader, run blocking type of dude, is that going to be beneficial to you, or do you want to be the athletic pass
There's
setting kind of guy?
Yeah, so there's actually 2 styles of football that play indoors. So you have the indoor style, which is very much modernized and tries to mirror the outdoor game. So there's a lot of running, a lot of quarterback runs, jet sweeps, options, but there's a lot of throwing the ball as well. Like I said, it's the closest thing that guys will be able to get to the CFL, the UFL, and using it as a stepping ground. Then you have the arena style, which is for anyone that's watching, it's the Philadelphia Soul. It's the teams from back then where it's just one guy in motion. You're throwing the ball 98% of the time. So, you wanted more skillful pass protectors. That's where this indoor game is. It makes defensive linemen have to think. They're not pass rushing every play. Most teams are like a 60-40 split pass to run, maybe 70-30, but you're still running the ball 15, 20 times in a game. So a defensive lineman's not pinning his ears back and just teeing off on a quarterback. He's got to be aware of a zone read or a jet read, power read, different things like that.
We're keeping them honest. They can't cheat like they normally do.
So it
That
makes
is they
it
normally do.
more realistic for guys when they want to try to get back outdoors. Because we get a lot of guys, honestly, we get some guys fresh out of college who could say they are self-aware. They understand, like, hey, I played at a smaller school, didn't get a lot of interest from teams coming to talk to me during my senior season. This is an opportunity for me to continue my career and play against some really talented players. I mean, our league, there's another prominent indoor league. Both these leagues are scattered with Division I guys who are on CFL, UFL, NFL rosters. Guys get paid to play football. So we get guys like that. We get a guy who maybe he had a cup of coffee in the NFL and he's trying to get back, So this game mirrors what they're going to be able to do outdoors. So it showcases their talents better than just lining up and pass blocking, 70 times a game.
So most of these guys when's the season? When's the indoor season? Is that during the
Yes.
regular football season?
Usually most teams start camp into February, and you'll go
Okay.
from February until, I mean, there's two indoor leagues. One of them starts and they play a longer season. We play a little bit shorter season. They play 16 regular season games. We play 10. So we'll finish our season like middle of June. They'll finish their season middle of August.
So you guys are kind of showcasing talent that didn't get drafted, perhaps would come drifting in, and guys that may be stick like had a chance, had a shot, didn't quite make a roster, are trying to just keep their skills fresh, and as well as guys that are serious about just staying where they are. They like what they're doing. There's nothing against staying there, there's nothing that says that's bad, but I'm assuming a lot of the guys are just looking to move, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
to
we
the outdoor league that's in the spring, or maybe just showcase their talents for
yeah, I
another
mean,
look in the fall.
there's been a fair amount of guys that have gotten opportunities through the different leagues, but we set our schedule as a league strategically. So if a guy gets a CFL call, he's getting in there week 4, maybe. So he still has an entire season he can showcase his
Mm,
skills, which, it's also that it's a business. Like,
yeah.
we pay our guys, our coaches get paid, we travel. Like it's not, a bunch of guys playing semi-pro football. Like it's professional football. So there are a lot of expenses, so instead of playing 8 or 9 home games, you play 5 or 6 home games, you get better attendance. In a lot of the cities where our league set up, there's a lot of things to do in the spring.
Mm,
So just here in Omaha, if our season went any longer, we'd bump right up to the College World Series.
mm,
Well,
mhm,
now we're not going to get anyone coming to
mhm.
our games. That everyone's going to be at the College World Series. That's kind of why it's done the way it's done. Gives guys an opportunity to, like you said, we have probably about 10, 11 guys who live in Omaha who they work a full time job, they train, they do all that, and then they play because they just want to continue to play football because they love football. And then you have guys, I say it's always there's a third for everything. So there's the third of guys who this is probably the highest level they'll ever play at, which is fine. It's
Mhm.
not an issue. Those typically become your guys that live locally because they have a good job, they have a good family, they don't want to jeopardize that to try to chase something when they're, getting a little bit older. That window to try to make it out to the CFL is very small. So you have those guys. Then you have a third of the guys who are trying to always elevate. They're the guys who you got them from a good college program. You look at tape and you're like, they're probably going to be here a year, 2 years max. And then you have then the other third of guys are guys who aren't quite good enough to make it to the outdoor game, but they're going to bounce around the indoor game across different teams, different
Mhm.
cities, states, leagues, whatever, make a good living doing it for 4 or 5 months out of the year. And they'll do that and that'll be their career.
So where do you guys as a team, as the Omaha team, what's your talent lines? How do you guys go about finding talent? Is this people find you, or are you guys going out actively soliciting people to come try out for the team or try out for the league?
Yes, it's not. So prior to me coming here, coach college football, coach high school football. It's not traditional recruiting where we're showing up and talking to people. It's a lot of online, social media, people reaching out to us because we've been around for 27 years. We're the longest running indoor football team in the country. Our guys are very well taken care of. Everything's first class here. So guys talk, it's a very small community that plays indoor football. You only carry 25 guys on your roster and you dress 21 on game day.
Mm,
So I think at my last math, and I'm not great at math, there's like 40 teams across the 3 big leagues. So when you do the math of 21 to 25 guys across 40 teams, it's not a lot of people that are, able to do it. So everyone knows who's the good teams, who's the bad teams. So yeah, it's some of it is we've got guys who live here and we reach out to them first and say, hey, look, do you want to come back? They're get a little bit older each year, and it's like, hey, do you want to keep playing football? We start with there. And then, we look at the guys that were on the team last year. How many of them do we want to bring back? Everyone's on a year to year contract. So, and then outside of that, it's, um, I played the game for 5 years. I recently retired. So I have a very large network of people that know me that I played against, played with, have followed my journey to this point. So it's a lot of social media messages
mhm.
but it's also not leaving stones unturned. We typically say if you're within 2 years of your graduation date of college, you're still in that window to compete for a chance. So we'll find a guy that played in an all-star game in December of 2024 and say, hey man, do you want an opportunity? Have you been working out? Have you been doing this? Have you been doing that? So it's really just leaving no stone unturned because it is such a small group of guys,
Mhm.
but it is a very popular thing as far as guys just want opportunity. There's guys who will move heaven and earth to make an opportunity work, and then there's some guys that think they're a little they think or feel that they're above the situation because our guys don't get paid thousands of dollars, millions of dollars like the NFL guys do or CFL guys do. I mean, they're making modest money, but they're getting their living expenses paid for, their food's paid for, their travel's paid for, their equipment's paid for. So in the grand scheme of things, you're playing for an opportunity to put out the best tape you can do in order to try to get a chance to go to the next level.
But there's not like a I'm thinking like a league-wide combine or anything like that, that they
No, because all of our teams are relatively drivable distances, but we are spread across a few states. I mean, we have a team in Nebraska, team in Iowa, 2 teams in Kansas, a team in Louisiana, 2 teams in Texas, 2 teams in Colorado.
Okay,
So find like a centralized location for everyone to get together would be difficult. So what every team just has their own tryouts.
okay,
Uh, and we recently had a tryout probably about 2-3 weeks ago. So each team does 1 or 2 tryouts.
okay. So if somebody's
You know,
interested, if somebody hears this and they're interested, they need to look you guys up,
yeah, they need to follow.
internet-wise, contact you guys and figure out when your next tryout is and get out there
Yeah, they
to
need to
be there.
just follow us on social media, follow the team, follow myself, whatever. And then if you've got tape and it's legitimate, you send it over. Don't send us bad tape. Like treat it like if you were a high school kid trying to get
Mhm.
recruited to a college. Like don't send me a video of you bench pressing or squatting or doing stuff like that. Like send me good tape. Like
Yeah.
just like you did when you went to college or when you were trying to go to college or whatever. Like treat it like the same process.
There's some selectivity about it. It's not just fog a mirror, here's a helmet type of stuff. You gotta bring some skills to the
We're
table.
not just, and that goes for every team across the landscape. Like a lot of people think that it's just some guy that works at the local grocery store is just putting on helmets and he's out of shape. And unfortunately, there are some situations like that, in some of these smaller developmental leagues. But that's not the case when you're in a professional situation. I mean, we
Mhm.
have guys on our roster that played like major Division 1 football. We have guys that had stints in the CFL, the UFL, NFL, and there's guys like that all across our league. So it's not just a participation. Everyone gets it. You've coached high school football. I've coached high school football. It's not, oh, you showed up, you get a helmet, and congratulations, you're part of the team.
So, what do you look for? You get that tape. How are you evaluating that tape when you see somebody? When you're trying to figure out if you want to bring this guy in for a tryout or give him an invitation to be part of the team, what is it that you're evaluating? What pops off the tape first that you're looking for to find in a guy that's a potential Omaha football player?
Yeah, so some of the stuff that happens in the outdoor game doesn't translate to what we do indoors and vice versa. So I look for just the basics. Like if you're a receiver, can you get off man to man? Can you get off press? Can you sit down in the zone? Because our field is 50 yards long and it's I think like 23 yards across.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like going from a hash, like a
Yeah.
college hash to the sideline.
Yeah. Just slightly wider than a hash to the
Yeah,
sideline.
so
Yeah.
there's not a ton of room, so I don't look to see can you run and make creative routes because the timing's not like that. Can
Yeah.
you win on a route when I need you to win on a route? Can you catch the ball consistently? Those kind of things. We don't care if you run a 4-4 or a 4-3 because at the end of the day, our field is 50 yards long from goal line to goal line. You factor in the 8 to 10 yard end zone, it's 60 to 70 yards total. So if you run a 4-4, there's not going to be a ton of times that we're running full field plays where you're going to really show that 4-4 speed. It's great to see if we do want to take a shot, or maybe you could be a great kick returner and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't need the fastest guy.
Right. What do you,
Just like up front,
yeah.
I want guys who are physical in the run game because we do run the football and it is a lot of one-on-one battles. The center gets helped out a lot because you're always going to have some aspect of a zone read built in because it's 3 offensive linemen versus 3 D linemen and a linebacker who starts at 6 yards.
So you're creating a double team by inserting a read into the play.
Yep.
So
So
that
that's
you can
how
read the guy and make him wrong and allow that guy to get onto a double team and get up to the backer.
Yep. And we can do that from different ways too. I mean, we can have some stuff where a front side guard kicks out a front side defensive end, the center back blocks, because everyone has to. So the center has to have his D lineman has to line head up.
Hmm.
The guards, it can be head up, one shoulder inside or one shoulder outside. So like it's no like lining up way out So you can do stuff where you pull guards and you run traps and power and things like that. It's just trying to find a way to get your hats back. In the outdoor game, you're always a hat down because you have a quarterback. Well,
Mhm.
now you add the fact that you have a quarterback and you have an extra linebacker in the box. So still 8 on 8, but you can only play with at most 4 receivers. So unless you're going empty a lot, which is tough because teams blitz that linebacker and nobody can account for him, you have to find creative ways in your run game to be able to run the football on a smaller field with a lot more chaos happening.
So if you guys are going empty, there's 3 down linemen and a quarterback on your side of the box, and the other side of the box is gonna have 3 D linemen and a linebacker, and that linebacker can blitz. There's nothing holding him back. There's no rules that say you have to stay on your side of the line of scrimmage
He
or
has to
anything.
be the only rules for him, he has to be 6 yards off the ball,
Hmm,
and then he can blitz, he can drop in coverage, he can blitz, and the DN can drop in coverage. So it's very much that's why I keep saying the indoor game for guys who are trying to get to the CFL and things like that, it's gonna be able to give you an ability to showcase your talents at a very true level.
hmm,
Because those things happen in the NFL, CFL, UFL, blitz peels and dropping defensive ends into the flat. Like we
right.
do those same kind of things. So just like we're trying to scheme up and gain extra hats with it being predominantly a passing league, defenses are going to find ways to take away every window they can take away.
So how often are you guys practicing every day?
So once we start, we'll go through camp for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then we'll play an exhibition game. And then we jump right into the season. We'll practice. Mondays will be usually like our film review day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice. Friday's a walkthrough or travel day, and then we play on Saturday.
Okay. So it's a standard schedule.
Yeah,
There's no they're in it every day. So they're
yeah. I
doing
mean,
their job and then they're coming.
where like we may have a Friday game or a Sunday game or something like that. So we change the week, but that's no different than if they were playing in the
Yeah.
CFL or
Anybody
NFL.
else, that's right, yeah.
That you just adjust the schedule. So we practice at night. So that way, we have guys who are going to be moving here from California, from Baltimore, from Pennsylvania, from Florida, from all kinds of different areas. So we practice at night. So when they get here, they can work during the day if they choose to. We don't force them to, but we encourage them to because we don't know what your situation was when you left home. You may have had a great situation or you may not
Mhm.
have. We're going to give you the opportunity to work. And like I said, we have about 12 guys that are local. We're not going to ask them to sacrifice their
Right.
jobs, their careers, their livelihood with their family, to come play. So we try to accommodate everyone.
Yeah. How many offensive linemen do you guys carry? You carrying 5, 6
Uh,
guys?
so we'll bring about 5 or 6 into camp, and we'll usually carry about 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
because
okay, so that's a my mind just kinda shifted right there. What's an individual period look like with you guys? With 4 guys, like, I'm just thinking about how you would run an individual period with you don't even have enough dudes to set up a defense on the other side, like, put 3 linemen against 3 linemen. What do you do to compensate for all that?
So in the indoor game, it's more skill based driven. So like every game, the skill guys they need all the room, they need everything. For us, it's more so just honing in on technique. So if we carry 4 guys, we'll usually what I usually do is a half line situation the whole time.
Okay.
So it'll be the center and a guard, center and a guard. But then the other 2 guys are servicing on defense, or I'll
Yeah,
step in service on defense. It
okay.
really doesn't matter. But that's why it's very important when we're building our roster, we're finding guys that can play multiple positions.
Yeah.
Because
Did
when
it
you
do you
only
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say, do your guys cross over?
So we'll have so we bring 35 guys into camp, but we truly have probably about 10 to 12 guys who we feel will make the team or should make the team that can play on both sides of the ball. Now, obviously they play one side better than the other, but when you're building a roster, it's typically you're going into a game with a quarterback, usually 2 running backs, 4 receivers, 4 linemen, so on and so forth. But when you start looking at it, it's like, all right, our fourth O lineman can also be a fourth D lineman.
Mhm.
Our fourth receiver is our backup quarterback. Like you have to find the ways to play the game because you just don't have the numbers
Right.
to be address a true 2 deep at every positions. It is a lot of body maintenance when you're going through the season, understanding your guys and being able to tell them like, hey, we're gonna go hard for this period, but then I'm gonna take care of you because we gotta get them to game day. So, our practices are just like any other. We do inside run, we do one-on-ones, we do skelly, we do team, we do the whole football is football at that point.
Right.
But when
And
it comes in,
you're
it's
banging
more
on each other.
yeah, when it's individual, it's more skill based. It's more footwork, hand placement, training the mind to just be able to see the bigger picture. Because there's only, like you said, there's only so much I can do. I don't have a true too deep to be able to line this up and do this. So it's a lot more footwork. I mean, that's offensive line in general. And I think sometimes offensive line coaches overcomplicate the position and they try to do all these techniques and things that they see on Twitter and they listen to these clinics and they think that because it works at Georgia, it's going to work at the tiny 1A high school they coach
Yeah.
at in whatever. So I really try to just simplify it. Like I try to have a run element. Usually I get about 20 minutes or so of individual because we are practicing like 8 o'clock at night. We're not having 2 hour practices. So it'll be about 20 minutes of indie. I'll use it, split it up into 5 minute periods. And it's like, I'm going to start every practice with some sort of footwork. We're going to go over bags. We're going to do something. We're going to get the blood going. I want to see like how quickly you can move from point A to point B.
Some
Second,
sort of agility. When you say footwork, you're talking like an agility type style footwork.
stepping over
Okay.
bags, but then I'm going to steal some stuff and I put in some pass protection, working on that slide, working on things like that through the bag. So I'm stealing reps in other places. Then we're going to work some sort of run game emphasis. So we may put the three guys out there and I'm just calling plays. And then that way, the one extra guy, hey, you're playing the nose. We're really emphasizing that combo block. Front side guy, you're just working your inside out footwork, driving the guy to the wall. Then, hey, we'll flip it. Now I'll step in. I'll be the defensive end usually. So that way we're not going on air. So that way everyone's getting work. And then
Right.
we'll just rotate around. So, and we'll do that for 5-10 minutes. And then I'll spend the last like 10 minutes just really honing in on pass protection. We'll do a section where it's just footwork and pass protection. So the worst thing you can do in indoor football, and I think in general as an offensive lineman, was a term I got taught was step in the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is like traditionally in a pass protection, you're working on an angle. If you step in the bucket, that you're stepping underneath yourself. So we'll do a lot of drill work where it's just like we're just working movement, just old school mirror drills, things like that.
Maintaining
then
the base.
Yeah, just making sure that our feet are good because for the most part, we're playing in like baseball turf shoes
Mhm.
or sneakers. So
Flat,
it's
you're in
not,
flats. You're not typically in the football cleat with the studs on the
yeah.
bottom.
So you've got to really be in tune with your footwork because just about all the guys have like the grip on the bottom. Like I said, it's like when baseball players wear it, whatever, or what the NFL linemen used to wear back in
The
the
old
day.
AstroTurf cleats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got grip, but it can definitely go from you really quick. So just making sure we're confident in our base. And then I'm going to spend 6 minutes talking just about who we're playing against, pass rush moves. If I know this guy likes to rush you upfield and he's going to swim inside, like when we go to when we go to a one-on-one pass rush, we're going to do 2 reps. The first rep, like it's a service period. It's not necessarily, it's a competition period, obviously. But if you tell me as a defensive line coach, hey, Coach Cain, their guard, he's a quick setter every time. Can you have your guy quick set us?
Right.
Then vice versa. Hey, coach, he's a speed rusher upfield. He's going to swim inside once he gets the quarterback depth. That's still helping you work on your stuff, but allows us to work on our stuff. But we're not sitting here doing things that we're not going to see in a game.
Yeah. It's
Because
like a small scout period almost.
yeah, because we only have so much time, and at the end of the day, too, there's only so much you can do in the indoor game as far as like schemes. Sometimes, like I said, people overcomplicate it, and guys don't play fast, and that's not what I like. I want my guys to play fast. Like
Mhm.
even when like I said, coaching college football, high school football, I wanted guys to play fast. How can I simplify things? Whether it's terms, whether it's terminology, whether it's buzzwords, what can I say to you that, excuse me, that can help you understand what I'm trying to say at a quicker pace?
Right. So you're telling me that even these big time guys that went to big time colleges and are playing professional football step on the tightrope and pass pro and lose their base.
Oh yeah,
That's what I just heard you say, and that just blows my mind. That it's
we
Doesn't matter what level, right?
Yeah,
Littlest up to the biggest, they're still doing the same things wrong.
yeah. I mean, it's like what we always say. They're here for a reason. For one reason or another, they didn't show enough on their tape. Maybe they just got overlooked. Maybe they got in trouble. Maybe they did this. Like, there's a multitude of reasons that guys are playing where they're playing at. So, how can we maximize what they do really well, and how can we improve the things that they don't do well? So that's the challenge when you're coaching professionally. Is some guys feel like they know everything, and at the most part, for the most part, when you get some guys who've been playing the game for 7, 8, 9 years, there's not much you're going to be able to teach them.
Right.
They're not going to try to move up. They're not trying to. This is home to them.
Yeah.
They make 5, 6, $700 extra per week for 4 months, and that helps pay for daycare. That helps pay for whatever it pays for. So it's a balancing act. The guys who want to move up are the ones who take the coaching, just like any level. The guys in high school who want to try to play in college are going to take the coaching. The
Mhm.
guys in college who want to try to play at the next level or try to be an all conference player, they're going to take the coaching. So yeah, you still run into the same football problems. Hey, I told you to cut on your second step on this slant, and you cut on your fourth step. Like, so
It
you still
doesn't
fight.
work. You gotta you gotta hit your mark, so you're out of step with everybody else.
So, and then we also get there's always a group of guys in every team, in every league. There's guys who like truly haven't played organized football, or they played in high school, or they played at a very small college. You could tell they're great athletes, but they just weren't taught. It's
Mhm.
just, hey, run as fast as you can, and we're going to throw the ball to you. Or, hey, you're the strongest guy on the team. We're going to put you at nose. You have zero pass rush moves, but just get knocked back on the center. So my job in our coaching staff shop is develop, because we love all of our guys, but we don't want them to be here year after year. If they want to be here, we'll gladly take them. But we want them to want to move up and elevate. And
Yeah.
whatever elevation means to them is what we try to help them achieve. And if it means going somewhere closer to home, if it means going somewhere that pays you more, if it means going back outside, whatever that means, like, that's what we're here to help you with. Because there's so many levels when it comes to finances in the indoor game. You got some guys that are making, across the different leagues, you have some guys that are making $200 a week, and then
Mhm.
you have some guys that are making $2,000 a week. So for some guys, they're money motivated. They might make $400 or $500 this year. They have a great season next year. 800, $900 somewhere else. Okay. Like, we operate as a business. We've got to, keep bringing guys in and stay in budget and do all those things. And we expect them to go take care of their business.
That's
So
right.
you try not to, but it does become transactional in that sense. So you just try to build them up while you're here, and you're never going to be upset as a coach when your star receiver gets a call to the CFL, or he gets a call to the UFL or the NFL, whatever, because you're happy for him. But then it kind of solidifies that you're doing good things, that you're
Yeah.
helping these guys, and because they're going to make it off their talent. So where can you fill in the holes? Whether it's how they talk with people, how good are they as a teammate, how are they in the locker room? Do they get in trouble off the field? Where can you fill in the holes that can hopefully give them that chance that they're searching for?
Yeah, you're taking all the edges off, trying to take the edges off and improve that overall game that they have from top to bottom, left to right. That's a tremendous undertaking and endeavor with some guys for sure, and other guys make it a little bit easier. That's the fun guy. That's the dude that you like to takes the coaching, does what he says to, and then gets a call, and you're like, wow, that's got to be rewarding to see that happen. He takes the coaching and catches the eye of somebody in the CFL, and he's off, and now you can sit back and say, wow, we got him to the next level. That's pretty cool. Like, if a kid signs a scholarship to a big school or something out of high school, that's always
And you use
it's
it,
always
and
fun to celebrate that and have those guys be recognized for their hard work.
you use it too when it comes to building for next year. Just like when you're at college and you're sitting there and saying, well, we had this guy drafted, or we had this, or we had that. That's going to entice a high school kid to want to go there. Well,
Mhm.
same thing. We get a guy sent to the CFL, or we get this happen. Guys are going to start looking and saying, well, I want to go play in the CFL. I want to go play in the UFL or the NFL. So I'm going to go play for the Omaha Beef. I'm going to go do
Yeah.
this because they obviously are sending guys up. That's what I want to do. From the business side, the building the championship caliber organization side, that's why you do it too, because you're like, well, we got to replace this guy, but then maybe next year we get a even better guy because he's trying to move up too, and he's trying to do this, and you just start, a trend, and that's what's been happening. I mean, Omaha, like I said, has been around 27 years, and we've played in the championship the last 5 years. Won 3 out of 5.
Well, success on the field has to follow such a great nickname for a franchise. That's just that's a must, right? What a great nickname, the Omaha Beef. So, all right, coach, go back to when you were outside and you have some young guys. You're wherever you're coaching, high school, college, whatever it is. You have young guys come in. What are the first traits that you're gonna get these guys to work on that you need to hone and get established as a foundation for these young guys that come in and are going to play for you eventually? What are you focusing on, emphasizing with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's three simple things for me. It's physicality, it's confidence, and it's swagger. So what I mean by that, physicality obviously takes on many forms, but are you consistently a guy? Well, I'm sorry, there's a fourth part, effort. But physicality is, to me, how I defined it. Are you the hammer and not the nail? When I turn on the tape, are you playing on their side of the line of scrimmage, or you taking it in the chest, and then because you have great feet or great hips or this or that, you're able to finish the block? Don't get me wrong. I love if you can do that, but you might be the one guy out of the 5 playing that can do that. And that's a different conversation. The rest of us, we all need to be playing on their side of the line of scrimmage. We need to be coming off the ball, be the hammer, not the nail. Second part, confidence. To me, you have to believe in what you're doing. Our position group is the most unnatural position. It's the biggest discrepancy between athleticism. People talk about DBs. There's DBs that run 4.2s and 4.3s going against receivers running 4.2s and 4.3s. Not many offensive linemen are running 4.4s, 4.5s, 4.6s. There's not many successful D linemen running 5.2s, 5.3s, 5.4s. So you've got to be confident in what we're doing and the prep we're doing during the week. The individual, the inside run, the team periods, those kind of things, the scheme, the plays for the week. You've got to have confidence in that. All right. So no matter what happens during the game, you can lean back on what you've done during the week. We have a big double team. We need to get on this 3 technique. Well, we drilled the crap out of that all week. Trust it.
Yeah.
Have confidence. Make sure you're working the footwork. Keep your outside hand free. All those things that we drill all day.
And I think that goes into the coaching, like trust your coach to know what needs to happen. Also, developing that trust within your player. When you tell him to do this and this is what needs to happen, he's going to be like, all right, he says I got to do this. This is what we're going to do. I think
Yeah.
that's huge to develop that with the guys too, so they can do that. They can have that confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And then swagger, like I tell my guys, at the end of the day, we're going to win games, we're going to lose games. I don't want to lose games, but it's a fact of life. But what we can't have is be in a situation where we walk on the field and we don't believe that we're the baddest dudes on the field. And regardless if we are or aren't, that's fine. But I'm a firm believer that if you believe in something, more times than not, you'll achieve it. So if we walk out there with that kind of confidence, that kind of trust in ourselves and those around us, that almost brash arrogance that I'm better than you, you're going to win more battles than you're going to lose during a game. And we stack it all together, we'll see what happens. And then the last one is just effort. Like I don't coach effort. Like to me, football is a privilege. We don't have you don't have to be here. I started that my high school kids, my college kids, my program. You don't have to be here. High school kids is a little bit different because, whatever, but you still don't have to be here. You
Right.
made the choice, conscious choice to come be a part of this team. Why are you going to do it halfway? You made
We
the
always we
well,
always said you can't help us lose. I
yeah,
can do that by myself. I don't need somebody who's going to go out there and not give me effort, not do everything they can do to make the team successful, make the play successful. We could put anybody out there and I'll put a guy out there that I know won't get the job done, but I'll know exactly where he's going to fail. I know what his failure point is. And that would drive me crazy. When I didn't see effort, that's when I would lose my mind. I'm in the same boat with you on that one. That needs to happen every single minute.
at the end of the day, every sport has their challenges when it comes to like off season stuff. But I find it very hard pressed that there's harder off seasons than preparing for a football season. So why are you going to go through the winter workouts, the spring workouts, the summer workouts, the long practices, the 2 weeks of camp, the inside run periods, all that stuff to get to game day and just not play full speed? that just made no sense to me. With the college guys, it was a little bit, I could be a little bit harder on them because I said, look, you don't have to be here. Like at the end of the season, you can go, you can enter the portal, you can do this, you can do like the ball is in your court as a player.
Right.
But what's not going to change is who I am and how I'm coaching because we're setting a culture here. So
I was just thinking all that stuff you said, all the off season, all that. You've gone through a lot of lactic acid to waste all that lactic acid that you've endured to not give a great effort. I mean that
you could
the
sit at
sick.
home and ate
Go ahead.
Doritos, played Fortnite all summer,
Yeah.
and get the same results, then you busting your tail for 7, 8 months leading up to the season, and then you get to game one and like, hey, I need you to finish this block, and it's like, but like it's like play 10 of this drive, and I'm a little bit tired.
Those are the best times to be tired, I think, at the end of those big long drives. Speaking of that, how long is what's an average drive length on the indoor? And
You'd be surprised. I mean, you obviously the likelihood of explosive plays goes up because you beat one guy. Now their defenses play unique coverages. It's not just man to man stuff like that, but it ends up being cover two turns into man, cover three turns into man. You get to your zone, but then once that guy enters your zone, it becomes man at that point. So
right.
you get a likelihood of a post route hitting big stuff like that. But the average drive is usually like 7 or 8 plays because
Hmm,
once you get
okay.
side of the 5 yard line, 7 yard line, I mean that field condenses. The end zones around it. It's literally a hockey rink. So the end zones go into a rounded point like that. So you start losing, you start thinking about the footage you lose in certain areas.
Yeah.
And when they still can drop coverage, defensive linemen, they could drop and play 5 across the goal line, what's called picket fence defense in the indoor game. You lose a lot of windows and things like
Yeah.
that. So honestly, one of the biggest statistics in indoor football is red zone percentage. Like I know it's important in the outdoor game, but like in the outdoor game, you're tending to, all right, if we can't get it on 3rd and 4 here, we're okay with kicking a field goal. But the indoor game, I mean, you could settle for that field goal, and the next time you touch the ball, you're down, 16-3
Oof.
because they surprise onside kick you. The kickers get 2 points if they kick off and kick it through the uprights. You get 1 point if you get tackled in the end zone because there's no fair catches, there's no kneel downs. Like you have to return every kick if it's in play. So you're thinking about all that stuff.
Right.
You can have legitimately 10-point swings after every touchdown. If you score, go for two, and kick a deuce, you have 10-point plays pretty much, or 10-point swings, possessions multiple times in a game.
And then so if you kick off, goes in the uprights, comes off the net, guy catches it and gets tackled in the end zone, that's a 3-point play, right? Is that
One
a three
point.
point?
So in our league, it's just hanging goalpost, which I like to tell people, think about a college goalpost, how it has that pole in the middle
Mhm.
that holds it up. Go from there to one upright. That's the distance of our goalpost. So it's half of the size of a normal goalpost. So if you kick it through there on the kickoff, you get 2 points. The kickoff team does. And then the offense for the other team starts at the 5 yard line.
Okay, so it doesn't bounce off of that part of the
Now in
okay.
the arena game, they have nets, so you can kick it off the nets and stuff. But say we squib kick it and we run down and we tackle you in the end zone, we get 1 point. So every play pretty much has a chance for points in the indoor game and the arena game. So it's tough to kick off through the uprights. So, but if you miss, the other end of that, you hit it, you get 2 points. They start at the 5 yard line. You miss, they're getting the ball at almost midfield.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a risk reward. You hit it, great. If you miss it, they only have to go one chunk play and they're now in the red zone.
But at the same time, 9-point lead's not safe.
No.
At the end of
I
the
mean,
game, you're up 8 or 9, and you're like, "Okay, we got this salted away," and next thing you know, they hit a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and dude kicks it through the uprights, and you're down by a point.
yeah. I mean, it's the last minute of an indoor football game is the craziest football you'll ever see because unless you are legitimately up by 3 scores or more, anything under 14, anything under 20 can be erased
It's not
because
safe. Yeah, okay.
I mean, my last professional game, we were down, I want to say 26 with like 8 minutes to go. We happened to recover 2 or 3 onside kicks. We scored, hit 2 2-point conversions. We scored with a hook and ladder, like everything that's crazy that you see once every blue moon in the NFL, we were having in the game. And that happens
Common,
every
yeah. Wow.
So as a coordinator, I'm the offensive coordinator as well. I'm sitting there and like it's more game management.
Right.
We have a 1 minute warning, which is like the NFL's 2 minute warning. Then the NFL rules apply. So if a guy catches the ball, the only way the clock stops, he has to put the ball over the wall or get tackled into the wall. That signifies being out of bounds.
Hmm.
So everything is like normal rules and regulations. So you have to flip your mind to the outdoor game and saying, all right, I got to watch the clock, got to do this, got to do that. So a lot of the indoor game is just really like clock and time management because you
Right.
you might get on a good day, you're getting probably about 50 plays in a game. And how many times can you score? Like on average, you should be scoring if you have 10 possessions in a game, you should be scoring at least on 7 of them to be consistent. So like your room for error, your room for mistakes is magnified because you throw that pick and they turn around and score. Now you're chasing the rest of the game. And that puts a little bit more pressure on you, things like that. And there's just the clock doesn't stop. So when a team kicks off, start the game, we play 4 15-minute quarters. They kick off, we catch the kickoff, we're running it out. That clock's going to keep running until we score a touchdown. And then when we score a touchdown, the clock stops. Or if there's a change of possession. I mean, I've been in games where we got the opening kickoff, and next thing you know, I looked up at the clock and there were 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. So that's part of the strategy too. That's why the indoor game is so unique because you do run the ball. So you have opportunities to stay ahead of the chains. You're not playing on a lot of 3rd and 12s and things like that. But I mean, typically you're getting in a great situation, you're getting 3 possessions a quarter in a great situation. Most of the time you're getting about 2 possessions a quarter.
So you want six, you want about 75% score
Yeah.
opportunity to be successful, to
And
have a
like,
chance to win the game at the end.
and you can score from anywhere. I mean, it's a 50-yard field. 99% of quarterbacks can throw from back wall to back wall almost. So
Yeah.
nothing is safe. And you'd be surprised, like there's bad tackling in all levels of football. But like when you get into an indoor game, it's really good tackling until that 1 minute and under. And then all of a sudden they throw everyone deep and they throw that under route. And now all of a sudden, somehow this guy makes 4 guys miss. And now he's in the end zone. And you look
Yeah.
up and there's 8 seconds left.
Well, it definitely would be a challenging aspect as a coach to manage all. It's almost like basketball. When you coach basketball, you got to make decisions. I mean, football, you're making a decision every 25 seconds or so. In basketball, you're making decisions every 6, 7 seconds as a coach, or 10 seconds as a coach. And so it speeds it up. You have to make a lot more decisions. It sounds like it's a lot more. The indoor football game's a lot more like a basketball coach, where you got to make
Yes,
those decisions
like
6 or 7 seconds.
combining the two, like the pace of a basketball game with the on the fly decisions, and
Mhm.
then with traditional football, man on man stuff like that. But no, I mean that's a great. It's always been said that indoor football is basketball on turf.
Mhm.
It's a lot. I mean, and it's stressful. All levels of coaching football is stressful, but as a player, the most stressed I've been in my whole playing career, and I've played from the time I was 6 years old until I was 29. The most stressful time was my time playing indoor football because, like, you couldn't exhale until the clock hit zeros because you were never out of a game unless, I mean, there was obviously times where it's like you're down 21 with 10 seconds left. Like, there's no way you're scoring 21
Right.
points. But if it was like, but that's the stuff we would study. We would say, all right, to go here to here takes about 8 seconds. So they would need like X amount of time to be able to score. If everything went right, they could score this many points. Like there's so much analytics when it goes into like that 1 minute timing rules for the rest of the game because the other part too is you may be up a touchdown and now you're playing the game or you're down by, let's say, 6, and the defense is going to let you try to score because they want to get the last possession, so they can't.
Oh, okay.
And as the offensive coordinator, you have to sit there and say, I've got to I've got to go against normal football where it's press, it's 2 minute, we got to go, go, go. Like,
Yeah.
no, they've got enough timeouts where they could do this and they would get 15, 20 seconds after a kickoff to be able to go down, score, and beat us. So then you're like 30 seconds left in the game, you're running inside zone. And everyone's like, what are you doing? It's like, I've got to try to milk this clock
Yeah.
down, make
Yeah.
use his outs. And then we got to score, obviously, but now they have no chance of getting the ball back to score on the other
Right.
end.
That's definitely different angles you got to get used to. I wouldn't want to just step right into the indoor game off the off the field and come in from the outside, walk inside, and have to deal with all that. That'd be you'd be at a tremendous disadvantage trying to do all that for the first time. Kind of have to come in and
And as a
mentor
fan,
under
it's
somebody for a
awesome.
little while.
Like it's a great experience as a fan because I mean you're right there. Like
Oh
you're
yeah,
glass on the walls like a hockey game. Like you can lean over and you can give a high five to a player. A ball goes into the stands on a kickoff or an incompletion, something like that. You know, guys score touchdowns, they throw balls in the stands. You keep them. It's a family focused entertainment. It's affordable family focused entertainment. Average ticket's going to run you $10 to $15, and some areas do really well. Got some buddies that play down for a team in Jacksonville, and they'll play in front of 8 to 10,000 people every weekend. You know, like there's diehard fans that'll come to it, and then you'll have some where some places they only get 500 to 1,000 people at a
hmm
game. It's the nature of it.
yeah,
So, but it's great family fun. Like I there's a lot of fans in cities that we play in who have NFL teams and they go to all the games and they're like, I would rather come to an indoor game than go
yeah.
watch insert NFL team. I can come in, I can park, I can buy a t-shirt, I can buy concessions, I can do all this for the cost of one ticket to go to
Yeah. There
a Dolphins game or something like that.
yeah.
So, and then after the fact, like after the game, all the guys go out on the field, they put tables out, and all the fans can stay and come get
Oh,
autographs.
that's cool.
So, like for a kid, you don't know that the indoor football is like steps below the NFL to you. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Like
Yeah.
guys are playing football and he's signing my t-shirt. And that's what makes it so unique.
It's cool. It's a cool experience. All right, TJ, as we get this is my last question typically and is one of my favorites. So I'm assuming that this is the case in the indoor game, that the offensive line guys are the biggest bunch of characters, the biggest collection of characters. And I'm sure throughout your playing career and your coaching career, you've probably run into that. That in the offensive line room is just a bunch of knuckleheads all gathered together. Is there anything that sticks out in your mind, stories you can share that would illustrate for people listening what kind of altered senses of reality most of the offensive linemen live in when they're out and about.
So we just have to be different because we're usually the most miserable people on the field. Our ND is terrible every time. We're pushing giant sleds. We are the biggest guys on the field, and we get sent to the furthest location on the
Mm,
field. That to me has never made sense. Hey, so in college, for example, so I'm from North Carolina. I went to a small school up there, and we had two full length grass practice fields, and we would always do our team periods on the defensive field, but our offensive indie was in the top left corner of the offensive field. So we would have to travel a football field and a half to get over to our team period. But no, I mean
no
we're a great
respect.
yeah, no respect. We're a great time. If you ever like if you're just a casual person and you want to have a good time, like just find some offensive line.
Mhm,
We're in one of three places. We're either in bed, we're at a restaurant, or we're at the training table.
mhm.
'Cause, our back hurts, our shoulder hurts, our knee hurts, our ankles hurt. But yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of stories. I'll give
Any
you.
anybody have any special, T-shirts they wouldn't wear, for the whole week or socks that they never washed, anything like that? You have any guys you play with that were like that, that just
I don't think I had anyone who had like the real big ritual stuff. Now we had some stuff as a group where like we would only eat like we'd go to the same restaurant every Monday before practice, every Friday after walkthroughs. We would do like the same kind of routine week to week. I always like to tell people, you never really know who a person is until you see them in a locker room before a game, because then
Mhm.
you really find out like that person's mentality. And seen some of the nicest guys after they hit some smelling salts before a game just go crazy. But yeah, I mean, some good stories. Man, I'm trying to find ones that are appropriate for air.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The typical offensive lineman's gonna do something really gross and out of bounds,
Yeah,
but it's gonna
I
be
mean,
really funny.
we're at the end of the day, we are the biggest, considered most unathletic. We're not smart. We're all this, all that. We don't have six packs and we don't run 4.4. So we're just your run of the mill guys that do the Lord's work and make sure everyone else succeeds. But I'll give you a good story. So I had in college, we were celebrating after a win, and it was a big win, beat a ranked team, ran for 200 yards on them. And the first thing that happened, we got in the locker room, the entire offensive line ran to their lockers, housed 2 Gatorades, and then the first question was, "So, what's for dinner tonight?" And it was like, it sounds cliche, but it was legitimate. We had a full on for an hour. We're taking showers, we're taking our stuff off. Everyone's gone, and we're still arguing over where we're going to eat because someone's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, let's go to Chipotle," and someone's like, "Man, I don't want. I'm gonna spend $20. I want to go to a buffet. Let's go to a buffet." And one guy's like, "Man, I don't want to go to a buffet." So it was a full. It was like 12 of us just having a full on argument to the point where we ended up going nowhere, and then we all just met back up later and celebrated the wins.
Y'all went separate places. Someone went
Yeah,
Chipotle, someone went to
yeah, like half of us went to the buffet because we're like, if we're gonna spend $20, might as well get our money's worth. And a couple guys went to Chipotle, a couple guys went and ate with their families, and then we're in the group chat. And we're like, man, we could have started pre gaming and stuff, an hour earlier, but we argued about where we were going to eat, and we all ate at our
exactly.
own place anyway.
Exactly. And just the littlest things ends up all the time for the littlest problems to solve too. Like you figure you gotta, and if you took a vote, you would never come to a consensus because there'd be 3 votes in every which way but loose, and nobody would be able to decide anything. So that's pretty it's a pretty good illustration of what it's like dealing with the offensive lineman. I would say the 6 pack thing, we all think we have 6 packs though. In our minds, we have 6 packs in our minds when we kind of
Yeah,
look
I
in the
mean,
mirror and they stick your belly out. And you're like, yeah, all right, almost there.
I remember my old line coach used to joke with me, and he'd be like, "Kane, you're a pretty strong guy, but you ever thought about like, you know, tightening your core up a little bit?" He said, "You don't want to have a 6 pack." I said, "Coach, the only 6 pack I have is in my fridge. I don't care about the pretty boy muscles."
We enjoy eating way too much for sure.
Yeah,
No doubt. Well, CJ, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule and very gracious. Anybody that wants to come and share their perspectives and what's going on. And I find it fascinating. Indoor Football League fascinates me. And I'm definitely going to be a fan of the Omaha Beef now. And I'm going to have to go check I'm assuming that you guys carry your games on the internet or some way to get to the games on the
yeah.
internet.
We stream our games on YouTube.
Okay.
When we get off here, I'll send you the schedule and everything so you can keep track of it. Fun fact for you: our one of our notable alumni is current Green Bay Packers head coach Matt LaFleur.
Oh, cool.
Played quarterback here in like 2004, something like that. But there's like a whole clip of him on the Dan Patrick show talking about it because he got inducted to the Hall of Fame and stuff like that here. Yeah, just a fun fact I always like to tell people. Like there's been some impressive guys that have been a part of the organization. So yeah.
There's beefs everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, CJ, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to following you guys in the springtime once you guys get cranked up and going. And just want to remind everybody out there and say this always as we depart: when you win the trench, you win the war. And thank you very much for being here today, CJ.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.